Dear students, let's continue our discussion on limits. Let's have a look at this question. Limit extends to pi by 2 minus x into secant x divided by cosecant x. If I directly apply the limit, numerator will be pi by 2 minus pi by 2, that is 0. Secant pi by 2 not defined, denominator cosecant pi by 2, that is 1. So it will be something like 0 into infinity. It is an indeterminate form. Directly we cannot use L'Hospital's rule either, because L'Hospital's rule can be used only if you have 0 by 0 or infinity by infinity form. Okay. So which cannot be done now. So what I do is, limit extends to pi by 2. That secant x, I will write secant x as 1 by cos x. So I will bring it denominator to become cos x. And cosecant x I will write as 1 by sin x. So it will be, in the denominator we will have cos x by sin x. That's equal to limit extends to pi by 2 minus x divided by cos x by sin x, I will write as cot x. Okay. Now if I apply the limit, I am getting pi by 2 minus pi by 2, which is 0 in the numerator. Denominator is cot pi by 2, which is also 0. 0 by 0, an indeterminate form. Okay. So now I will use L'Hospital's rule. If I use L'Hospital's rule here, derivative of pi by 2 minus x is minus 1. Derivative of cot x is minus cosecant square x. Okay. Now apply the limit here. As extends to pi by 2, cosecant pi by 2. Cosecant pi by 2 is 1. So here the answer will be minus 1 by minus 1, which is equal to plus 1. That's the first option. You can do it in this way, or after this step, I can write like this. Limit extends to pi by 2 minus x divided by this cot x. I will write it as tan of pi by 2 minus x. Okay. When x approaches pi by 2 minus x will tend to 0. So this is as good as, if I treat this as theta, pi by 2, let pi by 2 minus x be equal to theta. I will take pi by 2 minus x equal to theta. That will imply that x is equal to pi by 2 minus theta. Then as x tends to pi by 2, theta will tend to 0. When x tends to pi by 2, theta will approach 0. So this limit can be written as limit theta tends to 0, theta by tan theta. Limit theta tends to 0, theta by tan theta, or tan theta by theta is equal to 1. So in this way also you can solve this problem. Okay. Next question. Question number 40. Limit extends to pi by 2 tan x. As you know, at x equal to pi by 2, tan x is not defined. Okay? But when x approaches pi by 2, what happens to tan x? Is it defined or not? Does it exist or not? That we shall check now. For this, let's have a look at the graph of tan x. Okay? So, you know, the graph of this is pi by 2. This is pi, 3 pi by 2. You can observe that at all odd multiples of pi by 2, there is a break for this graph. So at all odd multiples of pi by 2, tan x is not defined. Tan x is not defined at pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2, 7 pi by 2, and on the other side minus pi by 2, minus 3 pi by 2, minus 5 pi by 2, etc. Now, see, even though function is not defined at a particular point, even then also limit may exist. We don't know. So, how to check whether limit exists or not? We need to go for left hand limit and right hand limit. Left hand limit, you just observe when x approaches pi by 2 from left side. When I say x approaches pi by 2 from left side means x is very close to pi by 2 but less than pi by 2. Okay? So, when x approaches pi by 2 from left side, this tan x is approaching infinity, plus infinity. So, left hand limit will be equal to plus infinity. Whereas right hand limit means x is approaching pi by 2 from right side. X is approaching pi by 2 from right side means x is greater than pi by 2. Okay, very close to pi by 2 but greater than pi by 2. That means x is in second quadrant. Right? So there what happens? When x approaches pi by 2 from right side, tan x is approaching, as you can see it is going down, it reaches minus infinity. So from this we observe that left hand limit is plus infinity, right hand limit is minus infinity. So when x approaches pi by 2 from left side and from right side, tan x is approaching plus infinity and minus infinity respectively. Therefore, limit does not exist. Okay? Hence, fourth option is the answer. Okay. Then, limit extends to 0, sin inverse x minus tan inverse x by x cube is equal to sin inverse x minus tan inverse x by x cube. Here, if I directly apply the limit, if I put x as 0, sin inverse 0, sin inverse 0 is 0, tan inverse 0 is also 0. So, numerator is 0, denominator obviously is 0. So, we can use L'Hospital rule. But earlier, in one problem, in the last class, I told you that limit extends to 0, we had tan x minus sin x or sin x minus tan x by x cube. There I advised you not to use L'Hospital's rule, use something else. We took tan x as common factor, you might remember. But however, in this problem, we have to go for L'Hospital's rule only. We don't have any other alternative. Though it is time consuming, we have to do that only because I cannot write tan inverse x as sin inverse x by cos inverse x. That is not possible. See, earlier what happened is I wrote tan x as sin x by cos x, then took that as common. Those things we were able to do it when we had tan x and sin x instead of their inverses. Okay, but now let us go for L'Hospital's rule. Yes, it is tedious, but we have no other choice. Okay, so if I use L'Hospital's rule, the derivative of sin inverse x, derivative of sin inverse x is 1 by root of 1 minus x square minus the derivative of tan inverse x. Tan inverse x, its derivative is 1 by 1 plus x square divided by derivative of x cube is 3x square. Now you apply the limit. When I apply the limit as x tends to 0, 1 minus 0, you get 1 here, root 1 is 1, this is 1. And when I put x as 0 here, this will also become 1. 1 minus 1, so numerator is 0. Denominator obviously 0. Okay. So still it is of the form 0 by 0. That means again we can use L'Hospital's rule. So let's differentiate it again. Okay. So this will give you limit x tends to 0. When I differentiate it again, derivative of 1 by root 1 minus x square. It looks like 1 by x. What is the derivative of 1 by x? Derivative of 1 by x is minus 1 by x square. So derivative of 1 by root 1 minus x square will be minus 1 by 1 minus x square. Okay? Square of this. Derivative of 1 by x is minus 1 by x square. So derivative of 1 by root 1 minus x square is minus 1 by 1 minus x square. Into, now I have to differentiate root 1 minus x square. Derivative of root 1 minus x square is 1 by 2 root of 1 minus x square into the derivative of 1 minus x square, which is minus 2x. Okay, minus. Now I have to differentiate 1 by 1 plus x square. That also looks like 1 by x. Derivative of 1 by x is minus 1 by x square. So the derivative of 1 by 1 plus x square is minus. So already minus in there, so it will become plus 1 by 1 plus x square whole square into the derivative of 2x. Sorry, derivative of 1 plus x square, which is 2x. Divided by, here 3x square is there, whose derivative is 6x. Okay? See now, in this term there is 2x, here also 2x is there, and take 2x as a common factor. Okay? I am taking that 2x as a common factor and I will cancel it with this 6x here. Okay? 2x I will take common and cancel it. After the cancellation, we are left with limit extends to 0, here minus into minus will become plus. 2x I have taken out, so 1 by 1 minus x square into this, so 2 into, here 1 minus x square is there, here root 1 minus x square is there, together I can write that as 1 minus x square to the power 3 by 2, okay, plus that 2x I have taken common and cancelled, so we are left with 1 by 1 plus x square whole square, whole divided by, here also we have cancelled 2x, so 3 will remain. Okay, now you apply the limit. Apply the limit as x tends to 0. So when x approaches 0, this will become 1. So you get 1 by 2 here. Plus, what happens here? 1 plus 0, that is 1. 1 square is 1. Divided by 3. That's equal to 1 by 2 plus 1. That will give you 3 by 2 by 2. 3 gets cancelled. That's equal to 1 by 2. Fourth option is the correct answer. Okay. Next question, 43rd. Limit extends to pi by 2 cot x minus cos x divided by pi by 2 minus x whole cube. Limit extends to pi by 2 cot x minus cos x divided by pi by 2 minus x whole cube. If I directly apply the limit, I am getting cot pi by 2 here. Cot pi by 2 is 0. Minus cos pi by 2, that is also 0. Denominator pi by 2 minus pi by 2, which is also 0. 0 by 0, an indeterminate form. So you can use L'Hospital's rule, but it will take more time because there is whole cube. So you may have to differentiate thrice. Here, I will take cot x as a common factor. Cot x as common. Then we are left with 1 minus cos x divided by cot x. Cos x by cot x can be written as sin x. How? Cos x by cot x is there. In the denominator, I am writing cot x as cos x by sin x. So cos x gets cancelled, the sin x will come to the numerator. Divided by pi by 2 minus x whole cube. That's equal to limit extends to pi by 2. I will write cot x as tan pi by 2 minus x into 1 minus sin x divided by this pi by 2 minus x whole cube is there. Here I will write pi by 2 minus x into pi by 2 minus x whole square. You just observe this. As x approaches pi by 2, this pi by 2 minus x will approach 0. So this is as good as limit theta tends to 0 tan theta by theta. That is equal to 1. In this expression will become 1 as x tends to pi by 2. Okay. So then 1 into this expression, we will have limit x tends to pi by 2 1 minus sin x divided by pi by 2 minus x whole square. Okay. Now if I apply the limit directly, I am getting 1 minus sin pi by 2. Sin pi by 2 is 1. 1 minus 1 0. Numerator is 0. Denominator is also 0. 0 by 0 is an indeterminate form. Now we can go for L'Hospital's rule. Differentiated. Limit extends to pi by 2. Derivative of 1 minus sin x. That will be minus cos x. Divided by 2 into pi by 2 minus x into minus 1. Into the derivative of pi by 2 minus x. Derivative of pi by 2 minus x is minus 1. Okay. Now that minus minus gets cancelled. I will write that cos x as sin pi by 2 minus x. As you know, sin 90 minus theta is equal to cos theta. Okay. I am writing cos x as sin pi by 2 minus x divided by 2 into pi by 2 minus x. Limit extends to pi by 2 sin pi by 2 minus x divided by 2 into pi by 2 minus x. Now as x approaches pi by 2, sin pi by 2 minus x divided by pi by 2 minus x will become 1. So this is as good as limit theta tends to 0 sin theta by theta. Okay? Because when x approaches pi by 2 minus x will become 0. That will tend to 0. Okay? So sin theta by theta will become 1. So the answer is 1 by 2. 1 by 2, which is the second option. Okay? Then 45th question. Limit extends to pi by 6. 3 sin x minus root 3 cos x divided by 6x minus 5. Okay. Limit extends to pi by 6. 3 sin x minus root 3 cos x divided by 6x minus 5. Okay. Directly if I apply the limit, I am going to get 3 into sin pi by 6. What is the value of sin pi by 6? 1 by 2. So 3 into 1 by 2, this expression will be, first term will be 3 by 2. Second term, here if I put x as pi by 6, cos pi by 6, what is the value of cos pi by 6? Root 3 by 2. Root 3 into root 3 by 2 will give you 3 by 2. So 3 by 2 minus 3 by 2, numerator will be 0. Denominator, when I put x as pi by 6 here, 6 gets cancelled, pi minus pi, that will also be 0. 0 by 0 is an indeterminate form. So we can use L'Hospital rule. So limit extends to pi by 6, if I use L'Hospital's rule, 3 cos x minus root 3 into derivative cos x is minus sin x. So it will become plus root 3 sin x divided by 6. Okay? Apply the limit as x tends to pi by 6. So cos pi by 6 is root 3 by 2. So you get 3 root 3 by 2 plus root 3 into sin pi by 6. Sin pi by 6 is 1 by 2. Root 3 by 2 by 6. That's equal to 3 root 3 by 2 plus root 3 by 2. That will become 4 root 3 by 2. 2 gets cancelled. 2 root 3 divided by 6. That is equal to root 3 by 3, which is also equal to 1 by root 3. Do we have this option? Yes, we have. Second option is the correct answer. Then 47th question. Limit extends to 0. Log 1 plus ax minus log 1 plus bx divided by x. If we directly apply limit now as extends to 0, the first term will be log 1. What's the value of log 1? 0. Minus second term will also be log 1, that is also equal to 0. So numerator is 0, denominator also 0, 0 by 0, use L'Hospital's rule. So limit extends to 0, derivative of log 1 plus ax is 1 by 1 plus ax into a, minus derivative of log 1 plus bx is 1 by 1 plus bx into b, divided by the derivative of x, which is 1. Apply the limit as x tends to 0. Here 1 plus 0 is 1, so a minus b, second option. Then 49th question. Limit extends to 0, 7 power 3x minus 5 power 4x divided by x is equal to. Limit extends to 0, 7 to the power 3x minus 5 power 4x by x. If I directly apply the limit here, 7 power 0, that is 1. Minus 5 power 0 is also 1. 1 minus 1 0, numerator 0, denominator 0. Use L'Hospital's rule. Limit extends to 0. Derivative of this is 7 power 3x into log 7 into 3. Minus derivative of 5 power 4x is 5 power 4x into log 5 into 4 divided by 1. Okay? Apply the limit now as x tends to 0. We get log 7 into 3. In other words, 3 log 7 minus 4 log 5. 3 log 7 minus 4 log 5. We don't have that option. Let us simplify. 3 log 7 can be written as log 7 cube, and 4 log 5 is nothing but log 5 power 4. Log 7 cube is nothing but 343. So log 343 minus log 5 power 4. 5 power 4 is 625. So log 625. Answer is log 343 divided by 625. Log m minus log n is equal to log m by n, which is the third option. Okay? Then next question, 51. Limit extends to 0, e power tan x minus e power x divided by tan x minus e power x. Tan x minus x is equal. Okay. Limit extends to 0, e power tan x minus e power x divided by tan x minus x. If I directly apply the limit here as x tends to 0, tan 0 is 0 and e power 0 is 1, minus e power 0, that is also 1, 1 minus 1 is 0, denominator tan 0 is 0, minus 0, 0 by 0, an indeterminate form. Okay? So whenever we come across 0 by 0, I know we are very eager to use L'Hospital's rule, but now it will be somewhat tedious because derivative e power tan x is e power tan x into secant square x minus derivative e power x is e power x itself, and you observe the denominator. After differentiating, we get secant square x minus 1. Then if I put x as 0, even then we will be getting 0 by 0 form. So you will have to use L'Hospital's rule twice. So differentiating will take more time. So instead of that, I will go by another method. I will take e power x as common from these two. So if I take e power x as common, here what will remain? Here e power tan x minus x will remain. Minus 1 will remain. Divided by tan x minus x. Now you might be wondering, sir, how did you get tan x minus x here? See, what happened is, I have taken e power tan x, e power x as common. So if I take e power x as common, in the first term, we will be left with e power tan x divided by e power x. Right? If I take e power x as common, then we are left with this. Did you understand? Okay. So now, e power tan x by e power x is as good as x power m divided by x power n. That's equal to x power m minus n. So that's what I did. It will be e power tan x minus x minus 1 divided by tan x minus x. Okay. So here I would like to remind you about one formula which we discussed in our earlier classes. That is, limit x tends to 0, e power x minus 1 by x is equal to 1. Whenever x is approaching 0, e power x minus 1 by x must be equal to 1. So you observe this fact. This. In place of x, we have tan x minus x. You forget about this for a while, only think of this. So e power, in place of x, we have tan x minus x, minus 1, divided by tan x minus x. So the question is, can we use that formula? That formula can be used only if this expression, if this power is tending to 0. Okay? Here we have e power x here also x. If x is approaching 0, then only the value of this limit is equal to 1. Now, when here we have x approaches 0, what we need to check here is, when x approaches 0, whether this tan x minus x, does it also approach 0 or not? If this also approaches 0, then you can say this expression is equal to the value of that limit is equal to 1. Is it true that when x approaches 0, tan x minus x also approaches 0? Yes. Tan 0 is 0, minus 0. So I can write this much as 1. Then this is what we are left with. What happens here when I put x as 0? X is approaching 0, so e power 0, which is also 1. So the answer is 1, which is the first option. Okay. Next, 54th question. Limit x tends to a, log x minus log a divided by tan of x minus a. Limit x tends to a, log x minus log a divided by tan x minus a. If I directly apply the limit here, log a minus log a, that is 0, numerator is 0, denominator tan 0 is also equal to 0. So 0 by 0 is an indeterminate form. Therefore, I will use L'Hospital's rule here. Derivative of log x is 1 by x. Derivative of tan of x minus a is secant square x minus a into the derivative of x minus a, which is 1. When I apply the limit as x tends to a, this will be 1 by a here. Here you get secant square 0. Secant square 0 is equal to 1. So the answer is 1 by a, which is the first option. Then, let's look at this. Question number 56. Limit x tends to 0, log 1 plus x divided by 3 power x minus 1 is equal to. So here I can solve this by two ways. So which one do you prefer? One method is by using L'Hospital's rule. If I directly put x as 0, I am getting log 1 here. Log 1 is 0. Denominator is 3 power 0. 3 power 0 is 1 minus 1. Denominator also 0. 0 by 0 indeterminate form, so you can use L'Hospital's rule. That is one way of solving this problem. And the other method is you divide both the numerator and denominator by x. First I will go by the other method, then I will come to L'Hospital's rule. Now I know you are very eager to use L'Hospital's rule, but still I will give you one more method also. Okay. So what is that method? Let us divide both the numerator and denominator by x. Dividing by x, that will give you limit x tends to 0, log 1 plus x by x divided by 3 power x minus 1 by x. Okay? Limit x tends to 0, log 1 plus x by x. What do you get? There is a direct formula for that. This is equal to 1 divided by limit x tends to 0, 3 power x minus 1 by x. You know this formula. limit x tends to 0, a power x minus 1 by x is equal to log a to the base e. Log a to the base e. That formula we know. So I am using that formula, limit x tends to 0, 3 power x minus 1 by x. That's equal to log 3 to the base e. When I bring it to the numerator, it will become log e to the base 3. Okay, so fourth option is the correct answer. This is one method, or this is the actual method. But you know, L'Hospital's rule can also be used here. So we have limit x tends to 0, log 1 plus x divided by 3 power x minus 1. If I use L'Hospital's rule here, derivative of log 1 plus x, derivative of log 1 plus x is 1 by 1 plus x. Derivative of 3 power x minus 1 is 3 power x into log 3. Put x as 0, apply the limit as x tends to 0, we get 1 by 1 plus 0, that is 1 by 1 is 1. Here 3 power 0 is 1 into log 3. Take the numerator, it will become log e to the base 3. So fourth option is the answer. I have given you two methods, whichever is easy, you follow that. Then 58th question. Limit n tends to infinity 1 plus 3 plus 5 etc. up to 2n minus 1 divided by 2 plus 4 plus 6 etc. till 2n. Okay, so look at the numerator 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus etc. That numerator is the sum of the first n odd natural numbers. Sum of first n odd natural numbers is equal to n square. You know that formula. Sum of first n odd natural numbers is equal to n square. And in the denominator, I take 2 as common. If I take 2 as common, you are left with 1 plus 2 plus 3 up to n. Okay? That's equal to, now, some of you may be thinking, sir, I don't know how that n square we have got. So 1 plus 3 plus 5 up to 2n minus 1, how it is equal to n square? You may not be knowing it, some of you. I expect you to know it, but anyway, if you don't know, then what to know, that also I will tell you. Okay. See, observe that 1, 3, 5, etc. This is in AP, arithmetic progression, with the first term 1 and common difference 2. I want the sum to n terms of an AP. Sum to n terms, Sn, is given by, you know the formula, n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Okay? That's equal to n by 2 into 2a, a is 1 here, so 2 plus n minus 1 into d. What is d here? Common difference is 2. So that's equal to n by 2 into 2 plus 2n minus 2. 2 gets cancelled, 2n. 2 gets cancelled, n into n is n square. Sum of the first n odd natural numbers is equal to n square. Okay, if you don't know the formula, this is how you can get it. Okay. Now, in the denominator, 1 plus 2 plus 3 up to n, sum of first n natural numbers, that is given by n into n plus 1 by 2. N into n plus 1 by 2. 2 gets cancelled. That's equal to limit n tends to infinity, n square by, take this n inside, n square plus n. Okay? Now we observe, this is a polynomial of degree 2, this is also a polynomial of degree 2. So you just recall that formula, limit x tends to infinity, f of x divided by g of x. When both are polynomials of the same degree, then what happens? The value of this limit is equal to the coefficient of highest power of x in the numerator divided by the coefficient of highest power of x in the denominator. Here the coefficient of highest power of n in this case, n is tending to infinity. Coefficient of highest power of n is 1, here also 1. So answer is 1 by 1, that's equal to 1. Second option. 59th question. Limit n tends to infinity, 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4 etc. up to 1 by 2 power n divided by 1 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 9 etc. till 1 by 3 power n. See, in the previous problem we saw that both the numerator and denominator were in AP, and therefore in this problem both the numerator and denominator are in GP. So you can expect what happens in the next one. Okay, so anyway, don't worry about that. Come back to this. Look at the numerator 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 8, etc. So that is in GP. And denominator 1 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 9, etc. up to 1 by 3 power n. That is another GP. Okay. So here, see, in a GP, if I denote this Sn, if Sn indicates the sum to n terms of a GP, and S infinity indicates the sum to infinity of a GP. So S infinity can be written as limit n tends to infinity Sn. See, Sn gives you the sum of the first n terms of a GP. Now, if I take that n to infinity, that will give you sum to infinite terms of that GP. Okay. So, S infinity is nothing but limit n tends to infinity Sn. So, they have asked us to find limit n tends to infinity Sn only. So, directly you can go for S infinity separately, S infinity of the numerator and S infinity of the denominator. S infinity, for that you know the formula, A divided by 1 minus R, where A is the first term of that GP and R is the common ratio. So, now you look at the numerator, there the first term is 1, A by 1 minus R is 1 by 2. Similarly, in the denominator, A is 1 by 1 minus R is 1 by 3. Okay, 1 minus 1 by 2 is 1 by 2, 1 by 1 by 2 is 2, divided by 1 by 1 minus 1 by 3 is 2 by 3. Okay, so this 3 will come here and this 2 will go up. So the answer will be 4 by 3. 4 by 3, first option. This is one way of solving this problem. There is another method also, that is limit n tends to infinity. Now we use Sn of that. Sn, you know the formula. Sn is given by A into 1 minus R power n divided by 1 minus R. Okay. So A is 1 minus R power n, 1 by 2 to the power n, divided by 1 minus 1 by 2, all divided by. Similarly here also, 1 minus 1 by 3 whole power n, divided by 1 minus 1 by 3. Okay. That's equal to limit n tends to infinity. 1 minus 1 by 2 is 1 by 2, that will come up 2 into 1 minus 1 by 2 whole power n divided by, here 1 minus 1 by 3 is 2 by 3. So it will become 3 by 2 into 1 minus 1 by 3 whole power n. As n tends to infinity, 1 by 2 whole power n, this fraction is less than 1. So when the fraction is less than 1 and then when the power tends to infinity, the fraction value becomes 0. Similarly, 1 by 3 is also less than 1. So as n tends to infinity, this 1 by 3 whole power n will become 0. So answer is 2 by 3 by 2, that's equal to 4 by 3. You can do it in this way also. Next. Question 6. Limit n tends to infinity, 2 power 1 by n minus 2 divided by 2 power 1 by n plus 1 is equal to. As n tends to infinity, what happens to 1 by n? As n tends to infinity, 1 by n will tend to 0. We discussed in our earlier class. Limit n tends to infinity, 1 by n will be equal to 0. So numerator will be, when I directly apply the limit, 2 power 0 minus 1 divided by 2 power 0 plus 1. 2 power 0 is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0, here 1 plus 1 is 2, 0 by 2 equal to 0. That's the answer. Fourth option. 61st question. Limit n tends to infinity, 3 power n plus 1 plus 2 power n plus 2 by 3 power n minus 1 plus 2 power n minus 2. What I do is, I write 3 power n plus 1 as 3 power n into 3 power 1. Similarly, 2 power n plus 2 can be written as 2 power n into 2 square. In the denominator, 3 power n into 3 power minus 1 plus 2 power n into 2 to the power minus 2. That's equal to limit n tends to infinity. I'll take 3 power n as a common factor here in the numerator. Then what will remain here? 3 will remain plus 4 into 2 square, that is 4. 2 power n is there, I have taken 3 power n out. So we are left with the 2 power n divided by 3 power n. 2 power n by 3 power n. Together I can write it as 2 by 3 whole power n divided by. I do the same thing in the denominator also. 3 power n into 3 power minus 1, which is 1 by 3, plus 2 power minus 2, that is 1 by 4, into 2 by 3 whole power n. 2 power n by 3 power n. I am writing as 2 by 3 whole power n. Now this 3 power n, 3 power n gets cancelled. As n tends to infinity, this 2 by 3 whole power n becomes 0 because this fraction is less than 1. Whenever the fraction is less than 1, then as the power increases, the value of the fraction decreases. So by the time this power reaches infinity, this fraction will become 0. Similarly, this will also become 0. So answer is here 3 plus 0, 3 in the numerator. Denominator 1 by 3 plus 0, that is 1 by 3. So answer is 9, which is the third option. Okay. 62nd question. Limit x tends to infinity, x plus 1 whole power 10 plus x plus 2 whole power 10 plus etc. till x plus 100 whole power 10 divided by x power 10 plus 10 power 10. Okay. Say, look at the numerator, x plus 1 whole power 10. So x plus 1 whole power 10, if I expand by using binomial theorem, how many terms will be there? So you know how to expand, right? So if I expand it, there will be 11 terms. And if I expand the second term, then that will give you another 11 terms. So in that way, there are 100 such expansions, and each expansion contains 11 terms. Okay, so 11 into 100, you are going to get 1100 terms. And I don't have that much space to write all this here. Okay. So that means we should find out another way of solving this problem, right? So you just observe the expansion of x plus 1 whole power 10. If I expand this x plus 1 whole power 10, what will be the, okay, you just to see a few terms, 10 c naught x power 10 1 power 0 plus 10 c1 x power 9 1 power 1 plus 10 c2 x power 8 1 square etc. till 10 c10 x power 0 1 power 10. Okay. Say, now you observe what is the highest power of x in this expansion. Highest power of x is 10, right? X power 10 is the highest. When I expand my x plus 1 whole power 10, the highest power of x will be 10 only. Okay. So can I say that it is a polynomial of degree 10? If I simplify 10 c naught, that is 1. So on simplification, this will give you x power 10 plus 10 c1, that is 10, 10 into x power 9 plus 10 c2, that is 45, 45 into x power 8, etc. Right? So you will observe that it is a polynomial of degree 10. First term is a polynomial of degree 10. What about second? Second term is also a polynomial of degree 10. Third term is also a polynomial of degree 10. And the last term is also a polynomial of degree 10. Now I will add all this. What happens to the degree of that polynomial? Will it still be 10 only, or 10, 10, 10 should I add it 100 times? What's your answer? 10 only, right? Because this is one expansion plus you are going to get another expansion of this kind. X power 10 plus 10 x power 9 into 2, that is 20 into x power 9, etc. Plus x power 10 into 10 into x power 9 into 3, etc. So I am just interested in knowing what is the highest power of x. In each of these expansions, the highest power of x is 10. So all are polynomials of degree 10. And the coefficient of x power 10 is 1 in each of these expansions. In each of these 100 expansions, all of which are polynomials of degree 10, among all those, the coefficient of x power 10 is 1. So when I add all these, I am going to get that the numerator will be 100 into x power 10 plus, see, I am only interested in the highest power of x, I am not bothered about the other terms. But I know that other terms will be some number, after all simplification you will get some number into x power 9 plus some other number into x power 8, etc. That is what you will get. Denominator is x power 10 plus 10 power 10. Okay. So now you observe, this is a polynomial, numerator is a polynomial of degree 10. Denominator is also a polynomial of degree 10 and x is approaching infinity. When you have both the numerator and denominator, both are polynomials of the same degree, then the answer is, the value of that limit is the coefficient of highest power of x in the numerator divided by the coefficient of highest power of x in the denominator. So what is the answer here? Here 100 by 1, which is equal to 100, that's the answer. That's the second option. Okay. Next. 63. Limit extends to infinity 2 plus x whole power 40 into 4 plus x whole power 5 divided by 2 minus x whole power 5. Look at the numerator. There 2 plus x whole power 40. This, when you expand it, the highest power of x is x power 40. And what will be its coefficient? Here x power 40 will come at the last term. Its coefficient will be 40c 40 into x power 40 into 2 power 0. Right? Because, see, what will be the expansion of 2 plus x whole power 40? This is equal to 40c naught into 2 power 40 x power 0 plus 40c1 2 power 39 x power 1, etc. plus 40c 40 x power 40 into 2 power 0. This is what you get. So, highest power of x is 40 and its coefficient is 40c 40. 40c 40, which is 1 into 2 power 0, that is also 1. So, coefficient of x power 40 is 1 here. Right? So, I can say that 2 plus x whole power 40, after its expansion, it is a polynomial of degree 40 and the coefficient of x power 40 is 1. Okay. Now we look at 4 plus x whole power 5. This, when I expand it, I am going to get a polynomial of degree 5 and the coefficient of x power 5 is 1. So then when I multiply it, here the first expansion, the highest power of x is 40. In the second expansion, the highest power of x is 5. So when I multiply, we will get another polynomial of degree 45, because here I have x power 40, there I have x power 5. Its product will give us x power 45. So numerator is a polynomial of degree 45. Okay, and the coefficient of x power 45 is 1. So after all the simplifications, we will get limit extends to infinity x power 45 plus some number into x power 44 plus some more number into x power 43, etc. Okay. Now let's have a look at the denominator. 2 minus x whole power 45. So denominator is also a polynomial of degree 45. Okay, both are polynomials of the same degree. Now let's see what happens. Its expansion will be like this: 45c naught, 2 power 45 x power 0. Okay, or let me say minus x to the power 0 plus 45c1 2 to the power 44 into minus x to the power 1 plus 45c2 2 power 43 into minus x whole square, etc. Let's have a look at the last term. Last term will be 45c45 into 2 power 0 into minus x to the power 45. 45c45 is 1, 2 power 0 is 1, minus x to the power 45, power is odd, so here the coefficient of x power 45 will be minus 1. So that denominator, after all the simplification, we will get minus x power 45 plus some number into x power 44 plus some other number into x power 43, etc. See, we are not interested in the coefficients of x power 44, x power 43, etc. See, first thing we want to know is what is the degree of that polynomial of each of this, of the numerator as well as the denominator. After that, what is the coefficient of highest power of x? We are only interested in that. So now both are polynomials of the same degree, hence the answer is the coefficient of highest power of x in the numerator divided by the coefficient of highest power of x in the denominator. So the answer will be 1 by minus 1, which is equal to minus 1. First option is the answer. Okay, students, with this I will stop today's class. We will continue tomorrow. Thank you.